Hi Leo, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol and this is going to be a general reading for you for May 2026. Hope you're all doing well. If you are new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribed, and I'd love it if you told me about that you just found me, and I like hearing that. And if you're coming back for another reading, I want to thank you as well for supporting my channel and hoping that you take the time to subscribe as well, because I'd love for these videos to get out for more people, because this is a healing channel. You're going to see that I read a lot of my cards using parts. I have been on my own intense healing journey for 9 years doing parts therapy, and so now I read tarot. Well, it's still healing, but I read tarot, and you'll hear me talk about your parts. And if you're interested in a personal reading, you can go to my website called carolecares.com. It's Carol with an E, carolecares.com. And on that on my website, I have a place where you can look at Yellow Cardinal Tarot and the personal readings I offer you. And also, I'm a shamanic healer, and so I have a business called shamanic business called Red Snake Medicine. And if you would like to explore getting a shamanic healing, if you've never had that before, I offer you a free 15-minute consultation, and you can sign up for that on my website. And after that, I promise I will not bother you. It's just to see that, you know, I just do it for people that are new, and just to see if you're a good fit for a healing for both of us. All right? But you're here for your reading today. So when I sat down for the May readings, I heard the two words hollow bone. And hollow bone is a shamanic concept, actually. And I knew that I've seen this, a card, an oracle card before. And it's come out in a reading before, the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. And they have the hollow bone, actually. And right underneath the hollow bone, it says teachability. And so the hollow bone concept is one that speaks about becoming a conduit, or a vessel, right? An empty bone, a hollow bone for the divine or the spirit to come through for personal healing, or for, in my case, for shamanic healers, so the divine can come through and offer healing to other people. Now, it's very important when you're on this journey, everybody's healing journey, is that you continue to like peel away those layers, right? Like an onion, but in this case, they're using the concept of a hollow bone. And so the concept of a hollow bone says that essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to become empty of the notions of who you are. Because we can go through this world, through, you know, our own lives, thinking that we were a certain person all our life. But once we start to heal and peel away at those layers and become more hollow, we start to realize that, oh, that's not who I was, right? And so this is about, how do you become teachable? How do you check that ego out at the door? You don't get rid of the ego, because that's part of you. But how do you start to become in that observer position, your higher self, where you can start to see that, okay, this is who I thought I was, and I start to identify that, oh no, that's my ego thinking these things, right? And so how do you become in a position where you're willing to be teachable, to say, okay, maybe these things that I've thought about myself are really not that true. And then you start to receive messages rather than try to control everything around you. And so in today's reading, we're going to start off, I'm going to be using the Ehrenberg Tarot, clarifying with the AE Weight deck. And then I'm going to start off with what belief or identity story are you, Leo, holding on to that's blocking you right now? And so let's have one card for that, for Leo. What are they holding on to? What belief or identity story is Leo holding on to? Well, it was the Two of Wands here. It did come up upright and then it flipped on its side. So I'm going to leave it on its side. What pattern, mindset, or emotions need to be released or emptied out? What pattern, mindset, or emotions needs to be released or emptied out? I'm going to say that this part is really your unconscious. This is your shadow. This is what's driving this right here, your belief or identity about yourself. And it needs healing. So we're going to find out here, you know, where's this pattern come from? These emotions. What's the healing that needs to be done around this? Alright, so this is sort of in an upright position. You have the 6 of Wands sideways and then the 7 of Swords. I love the depiction of the 7 of Swords here. Person peeking out of the mask, right? Somebody peeking out of their mask. We all know what that means. We're wearing these masks and they're peeking out to see, we'll see what that means. So what's the message, guidance, or truth behind all of us that you've been resisting, right? Your ego self has been wanting you to believe all of this and has been pushing it down, defending it, resisting. But there's some truth behind all of it. So what's the message for you? Whoa, whoa, wants to talk. All right, so we have the 9 of Wands in reverse, 7 of Cups, and then the Devil card said, no, I want to come out too. Okay, 3 cards there. Probably may or may not have to clarify that. Let's do some clarification for you, and I'm going to use the wait, like I said. So, 2 of Wands. Can I have a couple of clarifiers for that? One more card. Oh, wait, too much. Too many. I'm going to put all these away and I'm going to keep the Chariot because it was upright. So 6 of Cups and the Chariot in reverse is underneath this 2 of Wands here. That Chariot fought its way out. And 6 of Wands and the 7 of Swords. A couple cards for that. To clarify, 1 or 2 maybe. Fool in reverse. I think that's good. Fool's a strong card to come out. 9 of Wands, 7 of Cups, the Devil card. I'm going to see, I'll go through this once and see if they want a clarifier. If it comes out, I'll take it. If not, I'll move on. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave that for now. Okay, so let's begin your reading. Leo, what belief or identity story you're holding on to that's blocking you right now? 2 of Wands in sideways position. You're sitting on the fence here. There's something you want to do. See how this woman's staring at this globe, right? Looking at this globe, and it's like, there's more out there for me. There's something out here, but you're having some doubts. And it's something that, you know, it's Wands. It's something towards going towards your purpose. It's something creative, something you want to do for yourself. And sometimes when it's the smallest thing, there is so much resistance and fear in our system, and we want something small for ourselves, and oftentimes we'll pack it all in because we'll think, this isn't for me. But I can tell you that if you're dealing with a heck of a lot of resistance and fear in your system, it's for you. But you have to work at, okay, what's behind this? There's something from my childhood, my adolescence that's coming up that, it's blocking me. But right now, you're getting this nudge, because the 2 of Wands is just the beginning of the Wand suit, right? You're getting this nudge. There's something you want to do. And maybe every once in a while it'll come up and you'll put it away. It'll come, it's like, I wish I just would always like to learn that. I want to do that. Like, what is it? It's coming up for you. You know, and it's almost like, and right underneath it, to clarify it, is this, this nostalgic card. It's the Six of Cups. This is my card of nostalgia, right? These two children are here exchanging a cup, cups of love, cups of emotion. And this is the card. It's like, I think there's something that you've always wanted to do. It's like, I've always wanted it. When I was younger, maybe I wanted to do that. It's a nostalgia card. And then the Chariot came, is right here for you. Chariot speaks about, it's a big universal force, right? It's a major arcana card. It speaks about movement, not physical movement here, though. This is like inner movement, but it's in reverse. Now, let's take a look at this Chariot here. He's frozen. He's solid. He's been trying to control his situation for so long with his mind. He's trying to control these sphinxes, right, for so long, to move, but they won't move. In fact, they're done. And so it's like, I'm going to say that I talked about fear, but I feel like there's this incredible fear in your system where you've just like completely shut it down. So the amount of energy it's taking you to shut down and keep this fear contained, right? That's incredibly, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, you're exhausted a lot, because when we defend this fear, these big emotions, it takes a lot out of our system to be able to do that. But there's something that you want to do, but there's this incredible fear around it. It's like, no, we're just shutting all of this down. And there's not one part of you that wants to go inwards and try to look at, okay, what is this? So what pattern, mindset, or emotions need to be released or emptied out that is around this? What went on in your childhood? This is, I feel like this is like a memory or something here. There's something here that, you know, you were taught. Well, let's look at this first of all. You start off with the Six of Wands, and it's clarified by the Seven of Swords right after that. So the Six of Wands card, and this was sideways, but in upright position, the Six of Wands talks about this individual that's coming back from battle. He's got a wreath on his head. It's a victory wreath. This looks like a victory card, you know? Looks like somebody that's, you know, come back from battle. They've won. They're celebrating. This particular deck takes a snapshot of the Rider-Waite. And so it's sideways here. My sixes in my deck, when I read them, have a duality to them. So when you look at this, and this is about appearances, and I know this is about appearances because this Seven of Swords comes up here next, and that card's about appearances as well. So if you look at this card, it looks like it's victory, but this number 6 has a duality to it, because there's something opposite to victory, and that's loss. There's something that you lost. There's a big loss here when you were younger. There's something that you lost when you were younger. And it's a general reading, so you know. Because buried underneath that loss is a heck of a lot of grief. And so there's the emotion of grief. And that explains why there's so much fear around what you want to do right now. Because your ego self only remembers what happened when you were younger. Our ego self doesn't know what's going on right now. It only remembers the patterns and things that happened to you when you were younger. So your ego self knows, and it's probably saying to you right now, don't you remember what happened when you tried to do this when you were younger? Don't you remember? It's going to happen again. And so it creates this fear in your system. It blocks you prevents you from doing this by creating all this fear in your system. Because there's a lot of grief behind this fear that you need to get to. Because grief is like the last, out of all the emotions, it's that last emotion that kind of opens the door to something new to come in when you grieve. But that's the one emotion. If there's any emotion, the one that the ego self fears the most, it's grief. And so you have this grief here around when you were younger and you tried to show your authentic self. You tried to show who you were or whatever it was that you want to do here. I think it's coming up. I think it's coming up for you again. And maybe you know what it is. It's like, I wanted to do this when I was younger. I was supposed to. There was something you were supposed to do, right? And you tried, and it's got, the swords is about your truth and who you are. And this is called the Thief card, right? And it's a card that talks about this individual that's running away with all these swords. And so I think when you were younger, you were told when you were younger, no way, you can't do this. Or you were told, put that away, you can't do that, you're stupid. Or you're not pretty enough, you're not strong enough. Whatever it was, you were told that you couldn't do this for a certain reason. And so you were taught, well, here's me, the person that tried to do this. And isn't it interesting now? Look at the eye here and look at these two eyes now. It's about eyes, right? It's about seeing your truth. It's about seeing your truth. There's some more eyes for you. Look at the eyes that are coming out. Look at the eye over here. I just noticed, I've never pointed out a reading that had so many eyes in it. You have 2 here, 1, that's 3, 4, 5. It's about seeing. It's about clarity. So what happened when you were younger? When you tried to show your authentic self, you were told no, you weren't allowed to do that. Put that mask on. That's how our ego self comes out. It's like when your real self comes out when you were younger and you were denied for whatever reason. Your ego self, you were erased. Your real self was erased or denied. And then you put on these masks and you say, okay, I'm going to go out into society and that's who I'm going to be now, right? And so you really hid behind a mask when you were younger. You were taught to do that, right? And because, here she is, here you are right now. Your full face isn't showing yet. It's not showing yet. It's peeking out above what it is you could do. And then you've got the Fool card. Well, it's in reverse because it was blocked when you were younger. Who is the Fool? What is the Fool? The Fool is the innocence. Innocence when we were a child. The innocence of a child. To feel brave enough and know that it's going to be supported when it jumps off that cliff. Right? And knows it's got the support of the universe. Knows it's got support around people around them if they decide to go off on that cliff and try new things. When you were younger, you tried something. You tried, your real self tried to come out, but you lost the innocence. You lost your courage to do anything, to take that next step. And to feel like you were going to be supported. Here it is, upside down, blocked. That's a huge message for you. And so there's some real healing that needs to be done around when you were younger and this happened. And that's where all that fear is coming from. That's your ego self fearing. Don't you remember when you were blocked when you were younger? So what's the message, the guidance, or the truth behind all of this that you've been denying? That your ego self does not want you to see. Did I forgot a number for you. So I think this was what I think I need to pull some, I'm going to pull some cards for you. I've never done that. I forgot to pull what the message, guidance, or truth behind what it is you've been resisting. And I think these three. Maybe I'll put them over here. Yeah, that's the message right here. Okay, and then how can you begin to trust and allow in order to step into the hollow bone state right now? I'll pull those in a minute. Let's do this one first. So what's the message, guidance, or truth behind it that you have been resisting? Well, you have the Nine of Wands here. Yeah. And so what you have been resisting is in an upright position, this individual that says, look at the battle. Look what I've been through. I've been through a lot, right? And there's that eye that's come forward for you, right? And there's a real denial around you looking at what was it when you were younger. You've been through a lot when you were younger. There's some trauma here around not being allowed to do what you wanted to do when you were younger. And then you got the Seven of Cups that came out. Well, when this trauma comes out when you're younger, and when you're not allowed to be you for some reason, whatever you were told, it's very, very hurtful. Like there's a lot of grief that needs to come out around this. And so what happens is, you have the Seven of Cups here. You become very, very confused when you're younger. Your authentic self came out. And you tried to be you and you were told, no, that's not you. Put that away. And there's so much fear around it too to bring it out again, right? And to the point where I think you're quite very much up in your head. Your ego self is controlling you right now. And it's keeping you dissociated so that you don't remember what it was that happened to you when you were younger. It'll keep us up in our head because it doesn't want you to get to that grief that you need to get to, because you need to be in your body and feel that grief. And right now you're very much in your head, and you got this Devil coming out here. I want to say that there's a lot of pain here that's because you have this grief, that's creating a lot of pain in your system. The Devil card comes out when it talks about, you need to bring awareness to how have you been blocking or numbing out this pain that's trying to seep through, that's trying to come up now and heal. Because once you allow this pain to come through, this grief that has to come out regarding why you can't do this situation, why you can't do what you want to do right now and take this next step for yourself, you're going to continue to block it. And your ego self says, no, you can't. It's your ego that will continue to numb out the pain. It'll be the one that will continue to have you scroll on your phone all the time, or whatever other addictions will come out here. Because I think there's a part of you that's how you're controlling this pain that's trying to come through for you. And so how can you begin to trust and allow in order to step into this hollow bone state right now? What do you do now? That there's some pain coming up. You know that you've been numbing yourself out. You know that you've got to grieve. There's some real grief that needs to come out here. So what's the advice from the tarot here? The advice that I forgot to pull out. I find it very fascinating that I forgot this last part. I think there's a part of your strong ego self that said, I don't want to know. I don't want this person to know. Well, the advice is the Knight of Pentacles. And so let me just give you a couple clarifiers before I talk about what this is. A couple cards here to clarify for you. There's one. Ooh, there's two. Okay, well. So, yeah. So then you got how can you begin to trust and allow? Well, this is the Knight of Pentacles. And first of all, the pentacle is about our body. It's the grounding element. It's about getting into your body, grounding yourself so that you can get into your body, right? That's not where your ego self wants you to go. And then you have this Knight coming out, Knight of Pentacles. It's like a freedom fighter. It's an adolescent part of you. We all have it. It's the one that does not want to be controlled anymore. It's the one that doesn't want to be controlled by the ego anymore. It's the one that doesn't want to be, wants to be free to be able to be themselves. And it wants to be in its body. And so, because this has come out and it's in reverse, I'm going to say that you're probably feeling a lot of anxiety around this right now. And that's that anger that wants to come through. There's a part of you that is really angry right now because of what happened to you. And so I'm feeling like Six of Swords is next. In order for you to get in touch with this anger, because anger is really important. I talked about grief coming through, having to come through. And grief is something that will come naturally. But I'm going to tell you one of the big emotion that needs to come out before you go to your grief. And that's your anger that this part is pulling at you right now. And so there's a part of you that needs to get angry at these people when you were younger that didn't allow you to do this, whatever it was. But you need to be in a safe place right now to do that. And this Six of Swords comes out here. And it's like, it's in reverse because I'm not sure that you're in a safe enough place to be able to, get yourself grounded so that you can express your anger. Sometimes when we're still in touch with the same people that installed these buttons in us, these anger buttons or whatever, the ones that didn't allow us to do this, if we're still in touch with them sometimes, they can continue to trigger us. And so we need to be in a real safe place. I don't know, this is a general reading, but the safety cards come out. And so there's a question of, are you in a safe place right now to begin to heal this? And then you have the Tower moment that was sort of in sideways position. And, the Tower moment comes up for a certain reason. And I think you're on the edge of a Tower moment here. And then let me explain what this means. I think when a Tower moment comes up in our life, and a Tower moment is something that happens to us when the universe kind of takes this big baseball back to our heads and says, you know what? You have been warned several times to get at this grief, to deal with this memory around this. And you know that, and you're numbing it out. And you have been warned many, many times to look at this. And you're not listening. You've been pushing it away. You've been shoving it down. You've been numbing it out. You've been distracting yourself because you don't want to look at this. And so what happens is it's like you are on the edge now of a Tower moment coming up now, where the universe is going to push you in a certain situation that's going to make you look at this. And that's how desperate this situation is becoming for you right now, where it's like you need to get yourself in a safe place. You need to learn how to ground yourself, and you need to get angry. And then that's when the grief is going to come through. I'm going to leave you with a playlist on how to ground yourself. And then I'm going to leave a playlist on how to get angry. And I do that through my journaling. Because maybe you've been taught when you were younger that you weren't allowed to get angry. That you weren't allowed to take out your anger. That's what my situation was. But we need to learn how to get angry. And that means we need to learn how to ground our anger. And we do that through our journaling. I do that through my own journaling. And so I'm going to leave you with that right now. Leo, I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. This is a very difficult journey, this healing journey, but it's the most important one. So take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye.